Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka MAZUMA TV. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope you had a great day overall, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We're gonna be speaking about the ongoing dilemma between Terence Crawford and Boots Ennis, man. We're gonna expose the true animosity. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna really speak about why Terence Crawford has the problem that he has with Boots. We're going to be speaking about whether Errol Spence Jr. is a Hall of Famer or not, because I heard a lot of disrespectful takes on the truth, Errol Spence Jr. Then, of course, we're going to get into some open boxing topics before we sign up out of here. But before we get into that, if y'all could please hit the like button on the way in, that'd be very much appreciated. We on the road to 4K. We well into the 600 mark. About to hit that 3,700 mark in due time. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. What's going on, man? Shout out to everybody that's in the comments already. Y'all go ahead and hit the like button. Let's get the algorithm on the up so that people know that MAZUMA TV is live. You feel what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and pull this video up real quick, man, because this is how we're going to start this live. You know what I mean? We're going to keep it real. You know what I mean? I seen that boy Xander Zayas. He let the rematch clause expire between him and Jaron Ennis. You know what I mean? As expected. I don't think he would want to go through that again. That was a bit traumatic. You know what I mean? And Xander not really in the gym right now. Every time I see him, he traveling. He doing something. You know what I mean? Shout out to Xander Zayas. He definitely need that break, because that was a tough one. You feel what I'm saying? So let me see. All right, I'm gonna pull this video up here. Shout out to Uncle Murder. Shout out to Tony Yayo. You know what I mean? They putting together a dope little podcast. I love seeing the OGs, you know, especially in the rap shit, coming together to do podcasts. Jada and Fat Joe, Cam and Mace, and now we seeing Uncle Murder and motherfucking Tony Yayo doing anything too, man. Salute to the legends. You feel what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody in the comment section. The boy Z, what up? Shay, what up? Jay, what's going on, man? Marissa Alvarez, the little sis in the building. What up? King of Brooklyn, talk to me, man. What's up? What's up? Tricks, what up? Lorenzo and the motherfucking Benzo, what up? Shay said, what did I think? What did I think about that KO on the weekend? I can't pronounce dude's name, but that was a pretty impressive one if we talking about the same one. You feel what I'm saying? Let's see. Hold up. If we talk about the same KO, that shit was kind. Are you talking about when he knocked that Dominican dude out? If that was the case, that was a nasty knockout, man. That might be a candidate, you know, a solid candidate for knockout of the year. We done had some good knockouts so far this year, man. But I want to get straight into it, man. Shout out to the boy Shay. I want to get straight into it because I'm not trying to really be on here too long. You feel what I'm saying? I got shit I gotta do. So I want to go ahead and just speak about this because I want this to be the last time that I speak on it. You feel what I'm saying? This whole dilemma between Terence Crawford and Jaron Ennis. I think it's safe to say at the end of the day, these motherfuckers not fighting each other. So at this point, you know, as a content creator speaking on this topic, it does feel like I'm beating a dead horse. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm gonna just speak on this one last time because it just seems like it needs to be said because, like I said, man, I don't really watch too many content creators. You know, I rarely ever do, to be honest with you. I be so caught up in my own world. I don't really be, you know what I mean? I'll listen to some like boxers. Like I'll listen to like Tim Bradley talk or, you know, like some credible reporters and shit like that. Or whatever comes across my timeline, to be honest. If somebody send it to the DM, I might look at it. But I don't really see anybody really discussing Terence Crawford and why he really feels a way about Jaron Ennis. You feel what I'm saying? And I brought it up on previous lives before. So if you really with the nation, you already know what perspective I'm about to be talking from. But for those of y'all who don't or don't even know what the hell is going on, let me go ahead and share the screen for the people to see. Because Terence Crawford actually did an interview with Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder. And, you know, they casual boxing fans at the end of the day. Nothing wrong with that. So they're going to ask casual questions of things that, are currently on their timeline or things that they deem to be relevant. And they asked him about Jaron Ennis. So here's Terence Crawford, who, has said in the past that he's rooting for Jaron Ennis. And, what I'm saying? This is Jaron Ennis's era. Let's hear what Terence has to say about him. You see what I'm saying? Let's get into it.
That's one thing that they always.
Because it went viral.
Like,
everybody wanted it. Boots and Bud. We want to see that.
Bud, I feel like, Boots, a whole motion is built off of Terence Crawford. He should thank me, to be honest, because if there was no Terence Crawford at this pinnacle, who would they be talking about? Who would they be comparing him with? I remember when he was a couple of fights in and people were saying, hey, man, it's this little kid. When he was an amateur, in the Olympic trials, they was like, man, this dude fight like you, bud. This dude fight like you. When he was pro, this dude remind me of you, bud. So I just feel like, I'm going to let him have his era and wish him the best.
But how somebody like y'all don't even get cool? Like eventually, if he looking like a little you, and you like, oh,
I feel like he's a hater.
Okay,
if I'm gonna be a 1,000%,
it's the Real Report Show. It's all good. That's what we do.
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I think he's a hater. Like a lot of people say, "Oh man, Bud always hating." Like, what I had to hate on him for?
Right.
I didn't support him in the Olympic trials. I didn't been in the locker room at his fights, supporting him. So why would I need to hate on him?
Got you.
Like I said, I want to see him win. I want to see him go far as far as he can. But I think people do the same thing with Boots as they did with Spence.
Right.
And it's our people, it's the urban community that does it. Oh, Boots this, Boots knock you out, Boots. And then, the people that, support me, they, man, Bud of this, Bud of that. Then some fighters fight themselves getting caught up in that, and then they asked about it. Oh, man, he easy work. I ain't easy work. No, man. You know what I mean?
No.
That's just, disrespectful. Like you just head over the hype,
right.
And I don't look at no fighter as easy work. That's a professional on that level. I don't care who you is.
Right.
Like I gotta prepare for you, to a certain extent that, you could possibly threaten to beat me, or you wouldn't be in this position. So for him to sound easy work is just like, man, you disrespectful, boy.
Yeah. Tripping dog. Tripping dog. No, he ain't easy work. 42-0.
So now you seeing the fighters that's out there right now. What fight you really want to see? What's like?
All right, man. Y'all heard the video. I let that shit play in its entirety because, like I said, I'm not trying to be on here too long. I usually do cut in between the videos to discuss my opinion. But that's what Terence Crawford had to say on Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder's show. Shout out to the Real Report. I had a whole bunch of these videos getting sent over to me through the DM. You know what I'm saying? So let's speak on it, man. Let's speak on this. You know what I mean? I'm gonna interact with the chat after the fact. I gotta get this off because, like I said, I don't really want to dwell on this too much longer. You feel me? Because at this point, I don't think it's just boxing talk anymore. You know what I mean? I think there's something about Boots Ennis that genuinely bothers Terence Crawford. And the more Bud talks, to me, in my opinion, the more obvious like it becomes that he feels some type of way personally about Boots. And before, the Bud fans get all upset and, oh man, MAZUMA, you're a hater. And then Bernie the Boxer, little fairy ass, come over here talking about, no, not my guy, Bud. Not my guy. No, we from Omaha, man. No, we from. Understand what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? This is not me questioning Terence Crawford's greatness. You know what I mean? Bud is an all-time great fighter, bro. Said this shit time and time and again. You know You know what I mean? We already know he beat Errol Spence. He beat Canelo Alvarez. He retired undefeated, 5 division world champion, 3-time undisputed. His legacy is cemented. Boots Ennis does not erase anything Terence Crawford accomplished whatsoever. You feel me? But that's exactly why I find Crawford's negative emotional behavior towards Boots to just be so intriguing. Like, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Because if you've accomplished everything you wanted to accomplish in the sport, like you said, you know what I'm saying? If you're retired and you don't got nothing left to prove, like you said, why does one active fighter who's actively building his profile and getting the buzz that he's been working for all these years get such an emotional response out of you, man? And to understand like why I'm saying this, we gotta go all the way back, man. We gonna rewind back. You know what I mean? We're gonna look through these chapters real quick because people act like Boots Ennis, woke up one morning after Crawford beat Spence and decided to attach his name to Buds. You know what I mean? That's definitely not what happened. And if anybody thinks that, you really ain't been around as long as you claims you have. You feel what I'm saying? So let me see where I'm gonna start, man. All right, this probably has to go back to like 2020. You know what I mean? So about 6 years ago is when I started to hear, rumblings about Boots and Crawford, and even heard Boots calling out Terence Crawford when Boots was basically still like a prospect transitioning to that contender stage. So if we go back to like 2020, I'm gonna say like me and Boots around the same age. So Boots had to be like 22 years old. And around that time, I remember him saying that Crawford was the guy that he wants. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember he did that interview with YSM, and he was like, whatever he could do, I could do better. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people hear that and consider that to be disrespect. You know what I mean? I don't see it that way. As a former, young fighter, I just see that as competition. I just see that as somebody who's young, hungry, and willing to compete against the best. I hear a young fighter in Boots looking at the best fighter in his division, who was Bud at the time, and saying, that's who I want to test myself against. You know what I'm saying? Boots wasn't saying Crawford was ass. He wasn't being disrespectful how Bud claimed him to be. Like really think about this shit logically. If Boots thought Crawford was trash, like he really thought that, why would Crawford be the fighter he was measuring himself up against? Like, if that's the standard, if he looked at Crawford as the standard, like you can't do both. Like you just can't say this nigga's ass and then be like, oh, that's the standard. That's the guy that I want to fight. You know what I mean? Like I think it's safe to say, even though Boots never said it out loud, I think his competitive nature, maybe a little bit of his pride, won't admit it directly. But I think it's safe to say Boots respected Crawford's ability. You know what I mean? So much that he wanted to test himself against that man. I don't see what's wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? So let me check with the comments real quick. Let me see what the people saying. All right, let's continue. So, because I don't want to lose track. So then, you know what I'm saying? Boots, I remember when Boots was an up-and-coming guy before he got the IBF interim and stuff like that. His name was just starting to click off, and people was, hearing little rumblings about him and stuff like that. He was destroying guys. You know what I mean? Around that 2020 time frame, beat the dog shit out of Sergey Limpinis. Shout out to the Samurai, Thomas Delorme, Custio Clayton. I remember he was a top contender in the IBF. People started realizing around that time that, Boots was different. I've been new years before that, but that's when people started to pick up on what I was putting down. You feel me? And eventually the conversation became, after he was knocking all those guys out, whoever comes out of, the Crawford and Spence fight, Boots would basically be waiting for them. And that wasn't something like Boots put together himself. The boxing fans started saying that when they were seeing the things that Boots was doing in the ring, right? So then we get to like 2022, and this is where, history becomes important, right? Crawford, Spence, they trying to make the fight, because they negotiated multiple times. For those of y'all who forgot or just wasn't around, negotiations fell apart between the two, and Crawford ended up fighting David Evanesian for a big bag, supposedly on BLK Prime. Boots comes out and says in an interview, I believe, why didn't they call me? I would have taken that fight in a heartbeat. I remember this. Like, I clearly remember this. And at that time, that was a legitimate question. And if we're talking purely from a competitive standpoint, which I believe Boots and Bud both to be big competitors, Boots was a much more interesting fight than David Evanesian. You know what I'm saying? Now, later on, we learned that there was more to the story. You know, BLK Prime apparently did reach out to Boots and them and, you know, about a potential, you know, Terence Crawford fight. And Bozy acknowledged that there was conversations, but Boots Boots and his team had their relationship with Showtime and the business didn't line up. I did a whole breakdown about that with Wyatt's son that's actively on my page. So if you want to go look into that, feel free to do so. But that's important because I'm not going to sit here and rewrite history and pretend Crawford was sending Boots contracts every month and Boots was hiding. But what I'm not going to do is act like there weren't opportunities where the business on both sides like complicated things. You feel me? That's why I don't really use the duck label for this situation. For either one of these guys, I've never called Bud a duck. I've never called Boots a duck for that. I just understood that there was some complications on both sides where, you know, the fight wasn't able to happen, similar to the Spence and Terence Crawford situation that had happened prior to that. Anyways, 2023 comes around. You know what I'm saying? Boots becomes the IBF interim champion around this time. Crawford beats the dog shit out of Errol Spence Jr. and becomes undisputed. And now Boots, you know, who's an interim champion after beating Karen Chukazan the first time, he's not just some kid calling out Bud anymore. You know what I mean? He actually put himself in position in the sanctioning body, which was the IBF, as the interim champion underneath Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? And because Terence Crawford had the rematch situation lined up with Errol Spence, the IBF situation got a little complicated. And we all know the IBF stripped Terence Crawford and Boots gets elevated to full status champion. And I think from there, that's when Buzz started to really feel away about the situation. You know, he was saying, fuck the IBF and all of that stuff. That's when I think things started to get a little crazy, you know, calling Boots an email champion. Boots was gifted Crawford's belt. Boots didn't beat anybody for it. And, you know, and from Boots' perspective, what the fuck was he supposed to do? Like, I say this all the time. What the fuck was he supposed to do? He climbed the rankings. He fought the title eliminators. He became the interim champion. Most importantly, he wanted the champion. I mean, it wasn't like Richardson Hitchens, bitch ass, number one contender in the IBF. I don't want that rehydration clause. Then when Leon Parle beat Subrel, I fight you now, champ. I fight you now. No, it wasn't none of that. Boots wanted the champion. He was very vocal about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Boots didn't just, you know, the sanctioning body elevated him, man. Boots didn't wake up one morning and steal a belt out of Terence Crawford's crib or his closet and none of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But from Crawford's perspective, I understand his side too. You know what I'm saying? Bud had just beat Errol Spence. He was finally undisputed at welterweight. He was in his mid-30s looking at massive legacy opportunities. And maybe he was looking at that rematch as one of those things. And here comes this young motherfucker from Philly with tremendous ability, but not nearly like as popular as Bud, or at least a huge mega fight, you know, compared to the other fights that Bud wanted. So when Crawford looked at Boots, I don't think he saw fear. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that he saw high risk. And, you know, I think at that particular moment, not enough reward. You know what I'm saying? Because I did the interviews with Bomac, and he said Boots don't bring nothing to the table. That's not a fight that we looking at. And I didn't perceive that as somebody who's, you know, scared of Boots or anything like that. They looking for the money. You know what I'm saying? They was wrapping up their careers. Bomac also told me that Bud may very well retire after the Canelo Alvarez fight. He told us that on MAZUMA TV, and that's exactly what happened. So I just think at that time they was looking for money. They really wasn't looking for high risk, low reward. They was looking for high reward, even if it came with high risk. And that's what they did with Canelo Alvarez, right? You know what I'm saying? But let me continue. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm rambling at this point. Yeah, so when Crawford looked at Boots, I don't think he saw fear. You know what I mean? I really don't. And I need people to really understand the difference between those two things. Because saying a fighter recognizes that another fighter is dangerous is not saying that he's scared of him. You know what I'm saying? Like Crawford, even though he be back and forth with how the way he feels about Boots, Crawford knew Boots was the goods. You know what I mean? I think that's why he wanted to, get, have some sort of relationship with him, be some type of mentor to him. And we definitely gonna speak about that. You know what I mean? But I think he knew that Boots was the goods. And I think that's why, when it comes to Boots, the economics has to matter for the fight to happen. But this is where, like, right here is where I think the relationship between them got more complicated than boxing. You know what I mean? Because I think at one point in time, Crawford actually seemed to like Boots. You know what I'm saying? If you go back and listen to how Bud used to talk about Boots, Crawford said he had been watching Boots since the amateurs. He praised his talent. He spoke about him like a young fighter that he had respected. At different points, he gave Boots advice. You know what I mean? Especially after, what was that? Was that the first Karen fight? Might have been the first Karen fight. Or maybe it was a David Evanesian fight. I don't remember. But after performances where like I'm trying to see exactly how to say this. He gave Boots advice on different times. After performances where people criticized Boots, Crawford wasn't always piling on him. He would encourage him. You feel me? Like I clearly remember that. Crawford even went into Boots' locker room at one time while he was warming up and watched him warm up before the fight. And this is where I think something happened psychologically between these two. You feel me? I think Terence Crawford may have expected Jaron Ennis to eventually embrace him as like the older legend, the mentor, the big bro. Terence Crawford's accustomed to that. You know what I mean? He pulls up on these young fighters. They get starstruck. You know what I mean? They have a lot of respect for him for what he did. And they're just highly appreciative that he's around giving them game. But Boots has a separate mentality. Boots is like I ain't got no big bros. Like I'm the big bro. You feel me? So it's just like an alpha male type of mentality. A lot of these dudes in the boxing game is submissive, bro. You know what I mean? Like they don't mind being the little bro. Boots ain't gonna be the little bro to anybody except his biological brothers. That's what it comes across as to me when I look at how the way Boots moves and this shit. You know what I mean? Like I challenge anybody to find me somebody that Boots looks at as a big bro, mentor. You know what I mean? Somebody that he sit down and listen to outside of his immediate family. You don't really see that. You feel me? So maybe he's like, man, like Bud ain't nothing to me. Like I'm trying to catch a fade with this nigga. Like I don't care about, you know what I mean, him being a legend. Like I think I'm better than him. So why the fuck would I sit here and look up to him when I feel like I'm above him? You feel me? I think that's just the competitive spirit within Boots. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, like I think Crawford may have expected Boots to, embrace him as the older legend, not like becoming student, but have like that big brother, little brother relationship. Like, Bud, you paved the way, give me some knowledge, let me learn from you. Because that's the relationship a lot of younger fighters have with Crawford now. You know what I'm saying? We see how the way, Shakur is with Crawford. Keyshawn was like that with Crawford at one point. Even Africa, like you could tell he'd be real happy to see Bud. He the little bro to everybody, so he'd be really happy to see Bud. They look up to him, they ask questions, they want advice. Like he's Bud Crawford, bro. Like he's earned that respect, absolutely. But Boots never really gave him that. And I don't think it was because Boots disliked Crawford or anything like that. I think it was because Boots looked at Crawford differently than these other younger fighters did. It's a different mentality. Boots wasn't looking at Crawford thinking, I want this man to mentor me. I want him to be the big bro. Boots was looking at Crawford thinking, I want to fight this man. And there's a huge difference between, like respect and, deference. You feel me? I think Boots respected Terence Crawford tremendously. I don't think Boots ever deferred to Terence Crawford. Boots just never accepted the little brother role. And maybe that's where Crawford started interpreting Boots' competitive distance as like personal disrespect. You feel what I'm saying? I really think that there's a misunderstanding on Terence Crawford and because I think he just expected Boots to like bow down and respect it, and he not going for that, so he deems that as being disrespectful. Now, I want y'all to do something, right? Put yourself in Boots' shoes. You a welterweight. Crawford's a welterweight. You're climbing the rankings trying to become the best fighter in the world. This man got the belts you want. Why would you start calling him big bro and trying to become his little protege or whatever the fuck the case is when you mentally preparing yourself for the possibility that you might have to really fight this man? You feel me? Like, that's the old school fighter mentality. Boots mentality seems to have always been, I respect you. I mean, like, I respect you, but I want to beat you. You feel me? But Crawford may have received it as, I showed this young dude all this love, and he never showed me love back. So that's why I think there's a little bit of saltiness coming from Terence Crawford. You feel what I'm saying? Those are two completely different interpretations from, I guess you could say, the same relationship. And I think that's important when we get to what's happening, right now. Because for years, Crawford had a legitimate argument against the Boots fight. You know what I mean? Who has he beat? You know what I'm saying? Like okay. Then Boots starts accomplishing things. He becomes a world champion. He beats he stops Stanionis, becomes unified welterweight champion. Now is, who has he beaten? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't really say too much of that anymore because Boots is really stepping up and beating, other champions of his division. So then Boots moves up to 54. And I peeped that little shot, Bud threw at Boots, like, oh, Boots is, Boots was claiming he was at 54 when Devin Haney was trying to fight him. Like, bro, y'all niggas, and that's how you know Bud don't really be meaning that shit that he be talking when he say, oh, support Boots, because every chance you get, you try to put that nigga in a negative light. Fucking Devin Haney knew that Boots didn't duck him. He acknowledged, like, bro, we was at two different weights, at the time that fight was presented to the both of us. You know what I mean? Boots threw his little, request in there, like, let's make it at 152. Devin was like, bro, I haven't even fought at 147 yet. Why would I fight at 152? One guy was moving up in weight, the other guy moving up to 47 or transitioning to 147, and one was transitioning to being a 154-pound fighter. So it just was bad timing. But if you peep, Bud framed it in a way where he tried to make it seem like Boots didn't want to fight Dev. And Dev is like, Dev wants to smoke with everybody. Like, I agree that Dev wants, to fight the big names, but that one in particular, I ain't really rocking with that. But regardless, my fault, y'all. Let me see what the people saying. My fault. I don't want to ignore y'all. My boy Trick said Crawford is the mastermind behind the Brotherhood program. He trying to scout Boots in the locker room. That's what I believe. I think that's what his intentions were, man. I think he wanted to, because obviously, because if you hear what Bud said, everybody since the amateurs was saying that, Boots fights just like you. Boots fights. I'm going to just say this, bro. I'm going to say this. And this, I don't know if it's just me. I just got a different eye for this shit or what. But if you genuinely feel like that Boots and Bud fight alike, I don't think you're watching hard enough. I think your attention to detail is trash. Because the only thing that they have in common is that they could fight from both stances. And that's just like, that's anything. Like, just because you switch stances don't mean you fight like somebody. Like Marvin Hagler switched stances. That motherfucker don't fight like Bud. That nigga don't fight like Boots. But all three of them are capable of doing the same thing. Boots and Bud fight totally different. I'm not gonna get into the details, but if you think that they fight alike, you ain't really paying attention. I'm gonna just say that. You don't know how to study film, you don't know how to break down fighters. You know what I mean? Like, your mind blank when you watching this shit, basically, right? So, anyways, let's go back to what we was talking about. So, you know what I mean? Boots goes up to 154. I think that's where I left off at. Now he's coming into the same territory that, Crawford had occupied at one point in time. You feel what I'm saying? Then Boots goes out there against Xander Zayas and puts on another, because they was like, oh, he going to do 2-3 tune-ups. So 2 fights, he becomes unified when he put on a statement performance against Xander Zayas because of champion in the second weight class and unifies in just 2 fights. So now we talk about a 2-division unified champion. This man didn't become a 2-division unified champion because Terence Crawford tweeted his name. He didn't beat Stanionis because of Crawford. He didn't beat Xander Zayas because of Terence Crawford. He didn't build a Philadelphia fan base because of Terence Crawford. he didn't go undefeated because of Terence Crawford. So when Crawford is running around here in that interview with Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder saying that Boots' whole motion is built off his name, that type of shit, that's where you lose me. It's almost like you want to be the reason Boots got motion. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and I be noticing this with a lot of guys who either at the end of their career or retired, they really be feeling away about the generation that comes after them. Like, I remember Errol Spence was talking about that, you know what I mean? He looked up to these legends, and these legends don't even want to give him any game or talk to him because he feel like they're envious of the current generation. And I'm not exactly saying that's who Bud is, but when you're saying shit like, oh, this Boots era, I support Boots, but then you go out of your way to try to, belittle Boots and take away from what he's done and even root against him in certain situations, that's when, you know what I'm saying, you definitely lose me in this whole situation, right? Let's move on. You know what I'm saying? But let me acknowledge this. Did the Crawford storyline help build Boots' profile? I believe so. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie to make my point stronger or anything like that. You know what I mean? Boots spent years wanting the Crawford fight and their names being attached. Definitely created attention. But to really sit here on that motherfucking platform and say his whole motion is built off you, like, come on, bud. Like, I respect you. I love what you brought to the game. You know what I mean? Love your skills, your ability. You know what I mean? But like, come on, bro. Like, that shit just sounds personal to me. And it's especially interesting because the more Boots accomplishes, the more, like, Crawford seems to become dismissive. You feel me? After Boots beats Xander's, Crawford gets on social media almost immediately, too, talking about, I'm going to keep my comments to myself, but y'all get it, I hope. What are we supposed to get? The motherfucker beat the dog shit out of Xander Zayas and packed him in 7 rounds, an undefeated unified champion who won belts in back-to-back fights. You know what I mean? But then Crawford starts breaking down the openings he sees in Boots and says Boots is tremendously talented, fast, powerful, great reflexes, but he's 10 steps behind me. Like, come on, bro. Why is you talking? See, and this is how I know Bud Saudi. You know what I mean? Like, just really think about it. You retired. You say you never fighting him. So why are we doing a hypothetical film session explaining how you're 10 steps ahead of a man you never gonna fight? You know what I'm saying? Then you have Crawford picking Sebastian Fundora to beat Boots. You know what I'm saying? And, let me keep it a buck, man. Picking Fundora by itself, it ain't hating. You know what I mean? Fundora, a dangerous fighter, difficult matchup. Crawford is entitled to believe whatever he wants. You know what I'm saying? But we're not judging one statement in isolation anymore. I'm looking at a pattern. You feel me? I'm noticing the patterns. I'm real big on that. He says, I support Boots, but Fundora beats him. Boots is talented, but I'm 10 steps smart. I'm 10 steps ahead of him. Boots put on a great performance, but let me tweet something cryptic. Let me tweet something low-key immediately afterwards, saying that you saw something. I saw something y'all should have noticed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope y'all seen that. I want the young dude to succeed. Then he says, I want the young dude to succeed. I remember he said that, but his whole motion is built off my name. And now Boots is a hater? That's what fucked me up more than anything, y'all. Boots is a hater. A hater of what, bro? Like, what are you talking about? Show me where Boots spent his career tearing down Terence Crawford's accomplishments, bro. The motherfucker don't even talk. Nigga don't even go on social media. He don't even be chatting like y'all niggas. You would think he y'all OG. The nigga be to himself. He be chilling, be in his own world, trying to get the biggest and best fights to really prove that he a great fighter. And all y'all niggas just be on social media chatting, talking about that nigga. The whole time you just building his fucking name up. Because your emotional ass, you know what I'm saying? You don't even peep. Y'all making him more relevant by speaking on his name. And the nigga don't even type back to y'all. Like, show me where Boots saying Crawford ain't great. Show me where Boots saying Spence would have beaten him if Spence was healthy. You know what I'm saying? Show me where Boots saying Canelo got robbed or anything hate, because that's hating shit. Show me where Boots saying Crawford resume trash. Like, who Boots actually hated on? Only thing I ever heard Boots say is, I think I could beat him. Like, I feel like I could beat him. I know I could beat him. Bro, that's not hating. That's boxing. You feel me? Like, Crawford, You spent your whole career believing you could beat people too. You can't become offended because another elite fighter, you know what I'm saying, who has the same competitive drive as you, that helped make you great, by the way. You know what I'm saying? You're like, you can't be offended by that a motherfucker say that he could beat you. And that's just why I think Crawford's definition of a hater, you know what I'm saying? That shit is flawed, bro. That shit a lot different from mine. I'm gonna say that. Because I know a motherfucking hater when I see one. And I don't really see what Boots said that made him think that Boots is hating on him. Just because he don't want to be your friend? Like I don't understand that shit. Because he don't want you to be his mentor, because he want to fight you and not take advice from you. Or look, he not looking up to you like everybody else do, so you feel insulted. Like, I don't understand. You know what I mean? Maybe when Bud calls Boots a hater, he's not literally saying Boots discredit his accomplishments or anything like that. Maybe Bud is saying, I've shown this dude love for years, and he never showed me the same love. And if that's what he means, you know what I mean, that shit would make a lot more sense. You know what I mean? Maybe Crawford felt like, oh, I praised you, I supported you, I gave you advice, I tried to embrace you, and all you ever wanted to do was fight me. And Boots probably thinking some shit like, yeah, nigga, like, you right, exactly. Like, you was the champion. What the fuck was I supposed to do? You feel me? So if there's any type of disconnect between the two, which I believe it is, I think it would be that. I think Crawford, ego wanted acknowledgement, but instead Boots wanted competition. You know what I mean? Crawford may not have, Crawford may have wanted respect expressed through like some type of friendship, because like Trick said, Bud is one of the leaders of the brotherhood, man. You know what I mean? He definitely keeps some brothers around him in this boxing shit, that's for sure. You know what I mean? Boots, but I personally feel like Boots expressed respect by treating him like the ultimate opponent. That's respect at his finest. If the nigga's like, yo, I mean, that's the standard, that's the guy, he's the best in the division, I want him. That should be all the respect that you need, but you know what I'm saying? I guess because they never fought, that tension was never really resolved. And that brings me to what I think is like the deepest part of this whole situation, in my opinion. This is where I think all this shit is coming from. I don't know if Terence Crawford, and I said, and YSN brought this up on my channel as well, and we spoke about it briefly, but we're gonna get more into detail now. I don't know if Terence Crawford is completely at peace with retirement, y'all. Like, this don't sound like somebody who's at peace. You know what I mean? And before somebody clips the fucking video and puts it on Twitter and saying, I'm calling Crawford bitter because his career is over, bro, just listen to what I'm saying, yo. Terence Crawford retired in the position every fighter dreams of retiring in, bro. You know what I mean? Just like Andre Ward, just like Floyd, undefeated, undisputed, multiple times, 3 times, destroyed Errol Spence in one of the most important fights of the fucking decade. You know what I mean? Went up and accomplished, the Canelo win, Hall of Fame resume, legacy secure, made some really good money. This nigga say he owned like half of Omaha. You know what I mean? His health still intact. They ain't really take no punishment. There should be nothing left for Terence Crawford to feel like he has to prove. You feel me? So why does he still seem to be so invested in establishing like where he stands in comparison to Jaron Ennis? Why you got to constantly remind us how you're better than Jaron Ennis, or how you would beat Jaron Ennis, and how Boots isn't on your level? That don't sound like shit that retired fighters do. Like, I didn't hear Andre Ward say that about Dimitri Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. You feel me? Like I don't hear those things. So that's what I can't get past, to be honest with you, bro. Like, if you retired, just be retired, bro. Like, if you feel like Boots can't tie your shoes, that's cool. Like, that's all right. You know what I mean? If you're 10 steps ahead of, if you feel like you more smarter than Boots, that's cool too. If you feel like you would have whooped his ass, cool. If Boots' career is built off your name, like you said, cool. But why you feel like you need to keep reiterating the shit? You feel me? Like, he may have, and in my eyes, man, like mentally, I don't think he's full on retired, bro. Like, in his head, he still look at himself as, the number one guy in the world, pound for pound, number one. You feel what I'm saying? He may have retired physically, but from a mental aspect, I think he too competitive to let that shit die down. And for real, I can understand that shit and respect it. You know what I mean? Like spending your whole life with that mentality, like, yo, I'm the baddest motherfucker to walk this earth. I'm the best fighter walking this earth. You know what I mean? That mentality, you know what I mean, is what helped Terence Crawford be great. You feel me? You don't just switch that shit off because you announce your retirement. You feel me? That's a process, and that may be a flame that never really dies down. You know what I mean? The calendar may say you retired. You know what I mean? The blogs may say you retired, but your competitive brain might still be saying, ain't none of these dudes really fucking with me. And Boots might trigger that feeling more than anybody else because I don't really hear him talking about anybody else. You feel me? Teofimo Lopez be talking shit about Bud. Rolly be talking shit about Bud. Bro, all these little motherfuckers out here be saying Bud name, but something about Boots just makes Bud tap into that mindset. It seems like he's the only one who gets him to tap into that mindset. You feel me? That's just something that I noticed. You know what I mean? And it's probably because he ain't a random. He ain't no random heavyweight or lightweight. You know what I mean? Like, look at the parallels between the two. Both welterweights, both junior middleweights. You know what I mean? Like y'all, like the casual be saying, oh, they switch hitters, they undefeated, they got power, they athletic. You know, they unified divisions, they in pound for pound conversations. Boots just hit pound for pound conversations, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, he's literally doing similar shit, not, he ain't totally there in terms of, accolades with Bud, but it seems like he's, making his way through that lane. And every time Boots accomplishes something, what do boxing fans do? Compare him to Crawford. Boots beat Stanionis. What would have happened with Crawford? Boots moves up to 54. Damn, Crawford and Boots, they can actually fight. Boots beats the shit out of Xander. Could Bud have handled this version of Boots? Crawford probably hears that shit and says, like, I don't know if he says it, but he probably be thinking, like, what the fuck do I have to do? You feel me? Like, this man beat Spence. People said, what about Boots? He moves up. People say, what about Boots? He goes on to accomplish the Canelo feat. People still say, yes, but I wish we saw Boots. And at some point, Crawford probably thinking like, bro, I did everything y'all asked me to do, and y'all still found another motherfucker like Boots to put up against me. But the difference is, this is a young, hungry fucking killer. I'm in my late 30s, and that's the nigga that y'all want me to fight. How about motherfucker that's actually amongst my era that I can make big bags with? You know what I'm saying? And that's not really Boots' fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Eddie Hearn out here saying Boots would have beat you, nigga, be mad at Eddie. You feel me? If Gilly says Boots would have beat you, go wrap that shit up with Gilly. If Wallow texts you, after the Spence fight saying Boots waiting, I remember that shit. And that's when Bud was like, oh, you want to see a dead body or some crazy shit like that. I mean, you need to take that up with Wallow. Like, if niggas on Twitter wilding, saying you retired to avoid Boots or whatever the case is, nigga, go argue with Twitter. But don't take that frustration out on somebody who didn't create none of them fucking narratives. You know what I mean? Because I think that's what's happening. Niggas is talking shit. Niggas is backing Boots' play, and then he's shitting on Boots as a result of that. When Boots literally had nothing to do with that shit that's going on the internet. The nigga don't be on the internet. You know what I'm saying? And remember speaking of Wallow, remember that situation with Wallow and Crawford? After Crawford destroyed Spence, Crawford had just produced, one of the most brutal victories, in this era. He finally settled the Errol Spence debate, and that shit wasn't even close. And, Wallow was like, oh, Boots waiting. You feel what I'm saying? Crawford, let me see. Is that what Wallow said? I know Wallow had showed the screenshot. I know that shit was on video. He was like, Boots waiting. And, like, from Crawford perspective, bro, you just got the biggest win of your career. You finally became undisputed at welterweight after waiting all that time. Being on the other side of the street and all that shit. And before niggas could really celebrate, you got some nut-ass nigga like Wallow talking about Boots. And it's like, nigga, bro, did you not just see what I did? Why the fuck is you bringing up this nigga? But at the end of the day, Boots ain't send that text. You know what I mean? And I think over time, Boots became the face of that new narrative that Crawford really dislikes. And he didn't let it go. post-retirement. You feel me? Because, what he's hearing is, you didn't fight him. You avoided him. You retired before he got there. He would have given you problems. You never proved you were better. For somebody as competitive and prideful as Bud, that shit probably drives him crazy. And when his emotions get the best of him, that's when he come out, lashing out at Boots. You feel what I'm saying? Especially in these interviews. You feel me? So, like, he was able to settle all his differences with those two big wins he got with Spence and Canelo. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he don't really care to talk too much about them. But Boots, that situation unresolved. You know what I mean? That's the one argument Crawford can never completely win verbally. You know what I mean? Because he never really stepped the Boots to silence the doubters like he did previously. You know what I mean? Like, you could say you 10 steps ahead. And a Boots fan, all he gotta say, so why you don't fight him? And Crawford could say, I ought to beat the piss out of him. And then they're gonna follow up. So why don't you fight him? Crawford could say, he can't tie my shoes. But the Boots fans gonna say, you should have fought him. Crawford could say, his motion is built off me. You know what Boots fans could say? Should have fought him. You know what I'm saying? That's probably why, like, this particular hypothetical bothers him. You feel me? There's no footage that Crawford could point to and be like, oh, go watch round 7. The fight never happened. So the only way they could settle it is verbally, because it ain't like Crawford gonna come out here and step to the nigga and try to prove him wrong. So that whole 10 steps ahead, can't tie my shoes, and all of that stuff, you know what I mean? He's attempting to verbally establish like some type of superiority over Boots, because he can't do it physically in the ring, or at least he doesn't want to. You know what I'm saying? And I think Bud is having a real difficult time, like a lot of dudes do in retirement, especially when they retire at the top, going from being that guy to being the guy who was the guy. You know what I'm saying? But that come with the game, man. It ain't disrespect or nothing like that, bro. That's just time. And at some point, you know what I mean? Michael, like I love Michael Jordan, right? He had to watch Kobe. You feel me? Kobe had to watch LeBron and Curry and them. Floyd had to watch the next generation, even though he was hating man crazy. He was definitely a Saudi nigga too. But every legendary competitor eventually watches younger athletes, occupy the conversations that used to belong to them. And it's probably difficult when you had that light shining on you all throughout your career, and all of a sudden that light ain't pointed at you no more. You feel me? It's almost like the thrill and the excitement of being the man is just taken from you, and now you just left with being in the new generation shadow, basically. You know what I mean? Boots getting the headlines. Boots is winning the belts. Boots entering the pound-for-pound discussions. Boots is the active fighter everybody wants to see, one of the most entertainment showmen in the sport. And Crawford is the retired legend people used to use as, like, a measuring stick for Boots. You know what I'm saying? And that might be, a compliment to Bud in some ways, because, if Crawford's the standard, then he should be absolutely flattered by that. But from an emotional standpoint, you know what I mean? Maybe he don't want to be the measuring stick. Maybe he wants to still be considered the man, and maybe he still wants all the attention. And that's why I keep coming back to this idea that Bud might not actually be fully at peace with retirement, y'all. You know what I mean? I don't think he regrets his career. It's not because like he needs Boots for his legacy, not because he's jealous of Boots' accomplishments, but because I don't know if the competitor inside Terence Crawford, bro, has accepted that he no longer gets to personally answer every challenge. You feel me? And Boots is the perfect person to expose that conflict. You know what I mean? Boots never bowed to the man. He never became his little brother. He never became his little protege. Boots never stopped seeing Crawford as somebody he wanted to beat. And now Crawford is retired. Boots is still winning, and the question can never be definitively answered. And I don't think Crawford hates Jaron Ennis. I think Jaron Ennis represents something that bothers Terence Crawford. Boots represents the unanswered question. You know what I mean? Boots represents the younger generation, which Bud isn't a part of. And Boots represents the guy who respected Crawford without ever deferring to Crawford. You feel me? Boots represents the fighter who didn't become like Crawford's student. You know what I mean? Like, and, you know, most importantly, Boots represents a debate that Crawford, for all the things he accomplished, never got to settle with his fists. You feel me? So I done said a whole lot, man. Let me see what the people saying. I'm rambling at this point. Definitely rambling at this point. Let me see. Let me see what the people talking about. That boy Trick says, it's funny how Buzz said it's Boots' era, but then says Fundora beats Boots. So is it Boots' era or Fundora's era? Yeah, you know, they won't ever ask Bud no shit like that, man, because, you know. J Cash said, yeah, Bud mine ain't checked out from the sport. Absolutely not. And he's trying to make it seem like it is, but, bro, we could clearly see it ain't. You know what I mean? Like, you still locked in from a competitive standpoint over here. And like I said, maybe that fire will continue to burn, bro. Maybe that shit'll never turn out. Maybe he's just gonna be a competitor for the rest of his life. Kind of like James Toney. Like, to this day, James Toney think he could beat motherfucking Egypt Cabiel right now. If you ask James Toney, yo, would you beat Usyk right now? He's like, oh yeah, easy work. This, and mind you, this motherfucker old as dirt. Sometimes that fire never, that flame never turns off, bro. You know what I mean? So there's that. Is Coffee playing in the building? I don't see him. Irony Boxing, what up? I think he is in the building. Salute. Salute to the boy Coffee Plant. I didn't know he was in here. I didn't even see him. I ain't really even paying attention to the comments for real. I just want to lock in with this shit. But yeah, man. I'm like, so basically, I want to wrap this shit up. You feel me? Because I do feel like I'm talking in circles at this point. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, so they keep, you know, it's really like, and that's another thing, like Bud really talking to himself at this point because Boots is just so dismissive of Bud. Maybe that pisses Bud off too. He's not used to being dismissed. Like, he used to being acknowledged by his peers, respected amongst his peers, and Boots be like, yo, I'm not worried about Bull. Like, he retired. And I think that pisses Bud off because, like, nigga, I'm Bud. How the fuck is you? Who the fuck are you to, you know, be taking that type of approach with me? You feel me? And one thing I'm gonna say about Bud is every time he try to minimize Boots, bro, all you doing is giving more life to the idea of Boots, bro. All you doing is making them more relevant. You're gonna make your fans more interested in that man. You're gonna have them doing more research, more clicks, more follows, and, you know, more views on the YouTube, just watching his fights and shit like that. You know, so I don't even understand why he continues to do this. You feel me? Because greatness doesn't need insecurity around it. Like, it really don't. And in my opinion, bro, with all of the accomplishments that Crawford has, bro, that shit speaks loudly in itself, bro. That shit speaks volumes, bro. He don't need to tell you or me that Boots ain't on his level. I know Boots ain't accomplished what Bud accomplished. He doesn't need to tell me Boots built his motion off of his name. I watched Boots build his own career, bro. I watched him since when we was young boys, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking like a little after his pro debut. I came into the gym. I think he was only a pro for like a year. And I seen this dude, and I'm like, bro, this dude's gonna be world champion. I never seen anybody like him, bro, in the gym. I say that to this day. I never seen a fighter like Boots in the gym to this day. And I knew from that day. I always heard about him. I always heard that he was wrecking shit and all that. Because we was amateurs around the same time. He was, you know, way above me at that point. I started boxing a little late or whatever. But he was wrecking shit. But when I got to see him personally, firsthand, I'm like, oh yeah, this nigga is he's a problem, bro. I knew he was gonna be world champion. You feel me? I watched this man build it from the ground up. I'm talking about fighting in North Carolina, Virginia. Like, I remember Boots fought in like North Carolina. He drove down there. He drove down to North Carolina, stop boy in 1 or 2 rounds, and then he'll drive up to Philly immediately after the fact, and then come back and do the same thing a week later. He'll fight 2 weeks later, a month later, 2 months later, and just running that shit up. So when people be like, yo, why Boots had got almost 40 fights and he didn't fight anybody, bro, because he was staying active, nigga. The same shit y'all niggas clown Carmelo Moulton for, Boots wasn't going for that. You know what I'm saying? Carmelo Moulton fighting once every 2 years and shit. This motherfucker got Keith Thurman disease and shit. Can't get a fight to save his motherfucking life. Already missing weight and all that shit. I ain't never see Boots miss weight. I see that motherfucker stay hungry, pile up them fights, get that experience under his belt, and that was able to help him get ready for them world title opportunities. And look at it now. 2-time unified champion in 2 different divisions. Terence Crawford, you did not you are not the reason why Boots got motion. Boots got motion off of his own fucking hard work, bro. The arrogance of you, and you done accomplished a whole lot of shit, but the arrogance of you to think that you built that you think that you that big of a fucking name and that big of a star that you built Boots motion entirely on your own, bro. That's ignorance at its finest, to be honest with you. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is, bro. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think what else to really say at this point. Yeah, so to be real, bro, I think that Boots mentality really bothers Bud. I think that shit really gets to him because, Boots saying, based off his actions, I'm not idolizing the man that I'm trying to beat. You feel me? And I can respect that shit, bro. Because at the end of the day, if you run my weight classes, fuck you. You feel me? And to be real, bro, I really respect that because boxing now, it's too fucking friendly, bro. Everybody cool, everybody brothers, everybody train together, everybody taking pictures with each other, and they rooting for each other to win fights. And you know what I'm saying? Oh, my 2 brothers going to fight. Man, you know how this whole shit go. Boots ain't going with none of that shit, bro. He say fuck all these niggas. He don't fuck with none of them. They weird. That's what he said. You know what I mean? And Boots don't seem interested in doing that with no motherfucking Terence Crawford. He kept that competitive nature between them. And maybe Crawford, ain't accustomed to that. Maybe he used to motherfuckers kissing his ass. I don't know. But maybe he used to, younger fighters approaching him with admiration and stuff like that, and just want to be around him and take pictures. Boots approached him with competition first. And for real, that's what all of these niggas should do, because if they did, we probably get a lot more better fights than what the fuck we be getting nowadays. I mean, maybe we'll see these actual quote-unquote boxers fighting each other if they had that mentality. You know what I mean? And, I guess Boots mentality, that could easily feel disrespectful to somebody who believes, he was extending genuine love. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, Crawford look at it like, man, I've been praising this kid since he was young. I told people he was the man. I gave him advice. I came around him. I showed him respect. And this dude, still talking about fighting me. You know what I mean? And Bud probably looking at it like, what's your problem with me? Meanwhile, Boots is like, bro, I don't have a problem with you. Like, you got what I want, and I'm coming for it. You know what I mean? So I think this is a big misunderstanding. I think Boots' competitive mindset might have been interpreted as like rejection. You know what I'm saying? And I think when Bud realized that Boots wasn't going to be the young admirer and shit like that, maybe that's what made him bitter towards Boots. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think they got 2 different ways of approaching things, to be honest with you. So that's basically all I really got to say about that. You feel me? I ain't trying to be too repetitive. Let me see what the people talking about. So that's my whole spiel with that whole situation. You feel me? But I do want to end this off by saying, shout out to everybody in the chat. Y'all go ahead and hit the like button. Y'all go ahead and hit the like button, man. But I'm gonna end this off by saying, I think Bud's salty, bro. You know what I mean? And it ain't because Boots is more accomplished, not because Boots has taken his legacy Not because Boots is automatically better. You know what I mean? It's not because of none of that. I think Bud is salty because Boots never treated him the way Bud expected a young fighter to treat him. You know, Boots respected Crawford without worshiping Crawford. Boots admired his talent without accepting like a subordinate role, I guess you would say. Boots wanted to fight more than he wanted the friendship. You know what I mean? And now that Bud is retired, Boots gets to continue climbing while Crawford has to sit back and hear the comparisons. You know what I mean? For a man who spent his whole career needing to prove he was the best, that might be the hardest fight Terence Crawford has ever had to accept, to be honest with you, man. He hasn't faced much resistance in his career, but I ain't gonna lie. You know, this post-retirement comparisons that he's getting with Boots, you can tell that shit really bothers him. It really gets to him. And he can't really what's crazy is he can't really do anything about it. He's used to solving these problems with his hands, but for whatever reason, he's not willing to put his hands up to the test with a young, hungry champion in Jaron Boots Ennis. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? He not controlling the narrative. You know what I mean? Time ain't really on his side when it comes to Jaron Ennis. And maybe Boots isn't exactly the person Terence Crawford is really angry with. Maybe Boots is simply the reminder that, you know, Crawford's era is over. You feel me? While, you know, Boots' story is still being written. You feel me? And I think, you know, and that's why I believe this situation a whole lot deeper than two boxers just talking shit on the internet. Well, really, it's just one boxer talking shit on the internet. But you get what I'm saying. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that whole spiel right there. You feel what I'm saying? That's going to be the last time I really speak on this because at this point, it's ridiculous for them to keep going back and forth. Like, for real, if you're not going to come out of retirement, just shut the fuck up, bro. You know what I mean? Bellaface said, y'all got to stop the BS. I hope Bud comes back. Wait, what happened? What happened, Bella? Did I say something? Did I say something? Or are you talking about the chat, Bella? Let me know. Marlon Greatness said the funny thing is if he beats Boots, the media gonna say Bud. What about this fighter? Can you beat him? It's always someone else. Listen, I don't. You said you in the chat gotta stop. About what? About what? What did I say that was wrong? So you telling me Bud not Saudi? That's what you telling me? You telling me that Bud don't feel a way about Boots? Oh, I missed a super chat. Let me take a look. My boy Tricks with the $2 super chat. Salute to the brother for coming through and supporting the channel. He said, thought on Hitchens and Berlanga's performances. The easy work comment got skipped. First of all, Bella. First of all, this nigga, are we really about to compare comments? Because we could really do that. We could really do that. First of all, Boots didn't go out of his way. Boots didn't go out of his way to call, you know, Bud easy work or even speak about the nigga, right? So they asked him, they had a little segment where they was like, you know what I mean? Is this fighter, is he easy work? Or some shit like that. And Boots literally said they was all easy work. And as a competitor, that's your prerogative to say that. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you could say that, nigga. Like, what the fuck? I done heard Bud tell Kell Brook during the fucking weigh-in, I'm about to beat your ass, boy. About to beat your ass, boy. And Bud got every right to fucking say that. If that's how you feel about your opposition, go ahead and let that shit fly. But guess what? I remember Bud saying some shit on Gillian Wallow's podcast where he was like, man, like he wanted Boots to say something about him. He said, you know what I mean? I want you to remember when Bud said some shit like, oh, I want you to test my pride. You know, I might just get back in this shit, blah, blah, blah. All right, well, the nigga called you easy work and you stood the fuck down. So, you know what I mean? What else do he really got to say? So Boots said one thing. Now, do we want to run through everything Bud said about Boots? How about when he was on that FaceTime with Wallow and them and he said that he slapped the piss out of niggas and shit like that. The niggas don't really want it with him. And you know what I'm saying? How about him coming out here and saying that he's 10 steps ahead of Boots, like I just mentioned before. You know what I mean? All right, yeah, exactly, Bella. So let's not act like this is just a like Bud a motherfucking victim. Every time Bud get a chance, this nigga hating on Boots, bro. He really is. How you gonna say, Bella? How this sound? Imagine you in Boots shoes and you hear this nigga bringing up your name. Mind you, you not engaging with this nigga online. You literally giving him the silent treatment. You don't pay that nigga no mind. But this nigga out here saying, "Oh, I'm rooting for Boots. This Boots era," but Fundora beats him. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this Boots era. You know, I wish him the best, but he ain't want to fight Devin Haney though. It's like, bro, it's kind of giving like Brian Norman Sr. where like it's kind of giving Brian Norman Sr. where they try to come across as if they are being, you know, unbiased or calling a spade, but they throwing in like little hints of hate, bro. Bella says sparring Canelo was a problem that got skipped. Bud felt the way. Why the fuck do Bud feel like? Well, Bud, first of all, Bud and Bomac act like they ain't give a fuck because they said that Boots ain't Bud, which is very true. But it's like, Bud, Boots don't owe you no loyalty, nigga. You ain't never put no bread in his or his family pockets, but Canelo did. Canelo took care of Boots Ennis when he was getting ready for Shane Mosley. You know what I'm saying? They already had a relationship. Now, can I see why? They be like, oh yeah, like Boots, you know what I mean? Boots kind of crazy for going over. Yeah. The timing was definitely crazy. I ain't gonna lie. But at the same time, that nigga don't owe you no loyalty at all, nigga. What you ever do for what you ever do for Boots besides going to this nigga locker room to watch him warm up to make him feel like he owe you loyalty? The nigga don't owe you shit. He don't owe you shit. He on X right now. Who we talking about? Bud? That nigga Bud? He probably heard this and he fell away. That nigga probably watched my live and he probably on there chatting right now. But my whole thing is, bro, if you're gonna be doing all that chatting, cuz it's either you gonna pull that shit. You either gonna pull that nigga card or just shut the fuck up, bro. Like, it's so simple. Look at this nigga. Yo, Bud can't help himself. Bud can't help himself, bro. Look at him running through his accolades. Yo, let me share the screen. Let me share the screen, bro. This shit is fucking hilarious. This shit is fucking hilarious, bro. Look at this. 42-0. Former #1 best fighter in the world, pound for pound. 5-division world champion. 3-time undisputed. 4-time unified champion. 2-time fighter of the year. 3-time ESPY award winner, best fighter. 20 consecutive title fights. Hall of Famer soon to be. Sorry, but not sorry for being great. Hate on your mama. What? Who the fuck said Bud not great? Like, who is he trying to prove himself to? See, niggas who satisfied in retirement don't do this, Bella. Bella, do people who be satisfied with their career, bro, we know this already. Like, everything you said, we noticed already. You feel me? Like, this ain't a nigga who's satisfied. Hate on your mama. That is funny. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm not even focused on that. He said, hate on your mama. But Boots never said nothing about this nigga not being great, so he can't be talking about Boots. Boots don't even be saying nothing about this nigga, bro. Hate on your mama is hilarious. I ain't gonna lie. Cause that's like a petty ass comment to end it with. But this don't sound like a nigga who's satisfied with their career, bro, or satisfied with retirement. Let me tell you why I'm great, bro. You don't have if you truly great, niggas don't have to tell you that shit. Like, you don't have to prove nothing to nobody. You think niggas like Sugar Ray Leonard got go on Twitter and put everything down that they did? How about Muhammad Ali? You think he had to brag about what he did? Andre Ward don't be coming on here and bragging about what he did. Lennox Lewis don't. Like, a lot of great fighters don't have to do that, but you doing too much, bro. You doing way too much. You feel me? That's like Floyd Mayweather when he be at them fucking basketball games courtside next to Jay-Z counting his money. Like, first of all, Floyd, what the fuck you doing? Why you just pull out a whole bankroll in front of Jay-Z? What you trying to prove? Nigga, we know you got money. Like, what the fuck? Like, nigga, you're money made. What you gotta pull a bank? Like, why you gotta remind us that you got money? Nigga, we know that already. But the problem is, like, we don't care. We don't care, bro. Whoever say Bud not great, bro, those not the niggas you should be listening to. Yo, Bud, if anybody say you not great, you should not listen to them. You listening to the wrong niggas. That's how you know this motherfucker thrive in negativity. If anybody says that Bud isn't great and he's listening to them, he's just a negative nigga. Yeah, he just tweeted this. He just tweeted this like an hour ago. Let me see what else he said. He said, got some time. What's up, y'all? Oh, shit, he talking shit to Ryan. You might get knocked out. You better be training and taking this fight serious. Damn. Somebody wrote you overrated. He said, I know. Let me see. Somebody wrote fight Boots. Give him a chance, nigga. He got a reach and height and skills. He will be the best nigga you fought. He said, then what? Y'all gonna say fight Fury? That's funny. Let me see what they're saying. Nigga begging for sparring. Weirdo. Can you still make 154? Terrence says no. Okay. He says Haney versus Keyshawn is a 50-50. Okay. Let's see. Why would a nigga say that? Why would a nigga ask Bud if he still got it? Nigga just fought in September. Like, shut the fuck up. But yeah, nigga answering questions. Of course, he would be saying that he wants to, answer questions after that interview about Boots drop. He always seems to want to talk with the fans and social media whenever Boots got some shit going on. But I think when Boots first signed the fight with Xander, he's like, I gotta do questions, y'all. What's up, y'all? Y'all want to ask me questions? It's like, all right. No, I'm not gonna ask a question. I feel like I know what I know, bro. It's cool. I know what I know. Boxing is a negative sport. It's a violent sport. It's sanctioned violence. What I'm referring to. So you associate niggas who box with being negative people? that can be true in some examples, but I don't feel like that's a consistent correlation. You know what I mean? So boxers are automatically negative people. It's not always the case. Mark, do you know how Bud's mom raised him? I mean, you got a point. You got a point. But he a grown ass man. He could come out of that mentality. There's a lot of my mom. Believe it or not, my mom raised me similarly. Fuck. My mom probably did some worse shit than Bud mom did. I tell you that shit. I ain't gonna get into specifics, but my mom was a stone cold gangster. You don't hear me just thriving in the fucking negatives all the time. Shit. I'll tell you what, Bud mom ain't do nothing. She ain't ever do what my mom, you know what I mean? She ain't ever go above what my mother did. I know that for a fact. My mom was a fucking gangster, bro. Bud mom ain't do anything that my mom ain't do. Hell yeah, shit. My mom was a motherfucking gangster, bro. She used to have me fighting on, bro. I'm trying to tell you, me and Bud got parallels. Well, my father used to be the one that had me boxing on the block and shit like that. But my mom, shit. I don't need to be no boxing goat. Bella, what the fuck you talking about? Fuck. We talking about, see, you moving the goalpost, Bella, because I never said that I was a fucking boxing goat. We talking about being negative, thriving in negativity. That's what we talking about. You saying anything. Fuck. That nigga mom told him he ain't shit. He ain't ever gonna be shit. Nigga, my mom told me that right now. Fuck, like, I'm trying to tell you. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, if I was the lucky my mom probably sleep right now. If I was to FaceTime my mom, she'd tell me some shit like that. She let that shit fly too. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you, my mom really like that, bro. Bro, I got videos of my mom cursing me out. Fuck you. You ain't shit. You like your dirty ass dad. Bro, I done heard all that. The fuck I'm trying to tell you. Y'all niggas don't know my mom, bro. She look like a sweetheart. Look like a little white lady or a little blonde white lady. My mom really cut like that. What? If I brought up my dad, she'd go ape shit, especially if she was off the liquor. My mom ain't give a fuck. My mom would answer the phone like, what the fuck you want? You know what my mom did the other day? I was like, damn, I'm saying my mom called me and shit. I'm like, all right, let's see what she talking about. I don't want to talk to you. Give my grandson the fucking phone, nigga. I'm like, what? She really don't want to talk to me neither. You gonna let me see my grandson, nigga? I'm like, what the fuck? What, bro? I remember the one time I was like, yo, I look like my dad in this picture. You never look like your dirty ass dad, nigga. You look like me. You need to be happy that you look like me. You ain't got shit from your dirty ass dad. I come in the crib. What your dirty ass doing here? What your dirty ass doing here? Go home, you stank motherfucker. You need to cut your motherfucking hair. Get your nappy head ass out my house. What, bro? I'm trying to tell you. How you think I got good at talking shit? My mom talk cash shit. What, man? She used to be in her fucking bag. He said Mark sound like Uncle Ruckus. Nigga, that was my mother. Cooking your ass, bring her on the panel. She won't do none of that shit on the panel. She be bro, I'm trying to tell you, in front of people, she would never act like that. When it's just me and her, shit. She gonna let the whole clip go. She don't give a fuck about none of that shit. But the thing is, I always go live at night and my mom be going to sleep early. You know what I mean? What the fuck she said the other day? And my mom got my location, right? I don't got her location. Ain't that some shit? I ain't got her location, but she got mine. There's 3 people that got my location. That's my girl, my dad, and my mom. But what's so crazy is the only location that I got in return is my girl's. My dad don't give me his location, sneaky motherfucker, and my mom don't give me her location. Whenever I'm somewhere, she like, yo, I'll never forget this shit, right? Because, Philly ain't got no ocean. We got a river. We got the Delaware River. I was down Penn's Landing because I used to work there next to Penn's Landing. My mom, who always stalking me, was checking my location. She was like, boy, get your ass from that water. I was like, what the fuck? Nigga, I ain't in no damn water. I'm sitting right here. I'm looking at the views. I'm trying to relax. And here you go coming over here talking some bullshit. Nigga, get your ass out the water, nigga. You can't swim, nigga. Can you swim, nigga? You can't fucking swim. With your old ass. Fuck wrong with you? Get your ass out that water. I see your pen next to the I see your location next to the water. Get your ass out that water. I'm like, this fucking girl, man. Or I come by to see her and shit. She ain't home. She like, what the fuck you doing at my house? You hear my girl snoring? She said she don't snore though. She claims she don't snore. These girls be lying like a motherfucker, boy. This nigga Jay said Mark can't swim. Maybe he is black. Yo, that was another thing. I remember the one time. Yo, my mom. I remember during the summer, I used to get really, really dark. Yo, I used to get really, really dark, and I had a fro, right? Yo, what was that nigga she said I look like, bro? She said I look like, what the fuck? What was that nigga name, bro? Oh, man. Nah. She said I look like this fucking. Was it? I think she. What she said I look like Mr. T or some shit. She said something. I gotta ask her. She used to call me Mr. T or something. I was like, what the fuck, Mr. T? I was like, oh hell no. I was like, damn. My mom used to be frying me. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, Justin ain't shit. Justin really the fucking bid though. I ain't gonna lie. Definitely one of the funniest niggas in the nation for sure. Coffee played the bid when he be on here, but he don't fuck with us like that no more. Was I against giving my location when they first asked about it? No, because if I was, I just wouldn't have gave it to him. I wasn't forced to give anybody shit. I just don't give a fuck about. I don't be hiding. Like I'm not hard to find. I don't be out here moving crazy or nothing like that. He said Dr. J. No, I think she used to call me Mr. T or some shit, but she'd say it in Spanish. So I forgot what the fuck she said. But yo, she used to, man, I'm trying to tell you. I remember I used to, bro, because I used to have like a fro. Like I used to have a legit fro. Like you could put a pick in that motherfucker. My mom would take me to the barbershop when my dad was in and out of jail and shit. Or when my dad was away, my mom would take me to a barbershop. She used to tell them barbers, cut all that shit off. What the fuck? I used to be out that bitch fucking head bald as shit. You know how LeBron got like the cut, but he low key bald, but you can still see his lineup. That's how I used to leave that bitch. Crazy. I remember my mom was like, "I'm so glad your son don't got your nappy ass hair." I was like, "God damn, what the fuck?" I'm like, "Yo, mom, like you shouldn't be saying that shit. Like you sound like Ryan Garcia and them niggas." You know what I'm saying? But nah, real shit though. Me and my mom relationship always been like that, but I'll never choose another mother, man. Never. She the only one. She the only one to this day that ain't never left my bro. There was times where I was in the hospital for weeks. Like I'm talking about like 2 week stays at the hospital, blood transfusions, and fucking all types of procedures. Man, my mom will only step out the hospital to wash her ass and come back, bro. She used to be on that uncomfortable ass seat, turn that bitch into a bed. Man, she was with me through everything. When I had a bad skin flare up, and my whole skin broke out, and I had, bro, y'all niggas don't even know half the shit I've been through, bro. Woo-wee. That shit was bad. Can't nobody replace a mother, bro. Ooh, I done been through it. She was there for all that shit, bro. And her breaking down, because it got to the point where she couldn't take that shit no more. Like my life was really, people don't really understand. Like my life was really on the line, bro. Like, I was like, there was points where I ain't gonna lie, bro. And I see why, like when people get to a certain point mentally, they okay with, transitioning. Cause I swear to God, bro, I was so fed up with the process. I'm just like, yo, I'm ready, bro. Like if that's what it gotta come to, bro, like I'm ready to go. You feel me? And once I saw my mom break down from the constant hospital visits and the fucking all that, bro, I vowed to get better. And I'm so glad I did my research and did what I had to do, bro, because I've been in remission for years since then. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. She really the only one, bro. I ain't gonna say no names, but there was people that I was attached to. Oh man. And all they did was complain about how I wasn't there. Y'all niggas, man. Y'all don't even peep. Bro, I was in that hospital bed fighting for my life. Literally fighting for my life, bro. And I was receiving text messages about how they lonely because I ain't there. Trying to tell you, bro, like these niggas don't get, bro. I'm trying to tell you, a lot of these motherfuckers don't love you. They don't care about you. They just care about a lot of this shit is conditional, bro. You know what I mean? A lot of this shit, like a lot of relationships you have, if you stop providing for these people, bro, just fall back off them for a month and see if they gonna come looking for you, or if they gonna treat you the same when you stop doing shit for them. You be surprised. Cause me, I'm a provider. Anybody that I never dealt with romantically, whatever the case is, bro, can't none of them ever say that they carried the relationship, paid for everything, bro. I put my bread up every time. A woman ain't never had to deal with shit being with me, bro. Never, never, not one. A lot of the bitches I dealt with, they ain't even have jobs. My girl got a job because she fucking, because she want to. You feel me? And this the first woman I ever been with that bro, she with me no matter what, no matter what's going on. You feel me? But bro, I done had people. I'm trying to tell you, bro. I'm literally getting I'm getting blood because I bled out, bro. I fucking bled out. And I'm getting blood put back into my body because I don't have enough and I'm on the verge of fucking death. And this was like 2022. This was 4 years ago. 2022. I'm bleeding out. I'm on the verge of death, bro. I look at my phone and all I'm being told is about their feelings. Bitch, you think I give a fuck about your feelings? You think your feelings matter right now, bitch? You crazy? I'm just so lonely over here, and all I ever feel like I got is myself. That's all you got in this life, bitch. Fuck you so relying on me for? See, that was my fault. Not everybody deserve that, and not everybody can handle that. If you give somebody enough alcohol, if you give somebody enough attention, if you give somebody enough fucking drugs, they become reliant on that motherfucker. Yeah, like, bitch, I'm over here fighting for my life. I'm trying to get straight. Like, the fuck? You over here talking about how you feel. Bitch, you ain't fighting for your life. You waiting for me to come home so I can continue providing for you. The fuck? Even with me being in the hospital, everything still taken care of, but you bitching because I ain't there. Like, fucking dumbass bitch, bro. Thank God I got out that situation, bro. Anyways. Insane. Yeah, this bitch talking about, did you take the trash out? Bitch, I can't even walk up steps. Bro, I had to take, bro, y'all niggas don't even know. I had to take breaks going up each flight of steps. Because if I went up like 10 steps, bro, I couldn't breathe. Bro, I had no blood in my fucking system. So if I ain't got no blood, I definitely ain't got no hemoglobin. If I ain't got no hemoglobin, I don't got no oxygen running through my blood vessels, like through my bloodstream. How the fuck? You talk about me taking out the trash, bitch. Shit crazy, bro. Never understand these hoes. And they probably listening too. Yeah, screen record all this shit. Do whatever you want with this information. Fuck you mean, where the blood go? I bled out. What you mean? Yeah, I got a chronic illness, bro. So if I don't take care of it, I will bleed out. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jay be wildin'. Jay really my dog, though. Jay really my dog. But yeah, bro. These niggas don't, man. These people don't give a fuck about you, bro. Really don't care. Whole time they give you that impression they fuck with you too. No, bro. Can you imagine just giving? Bro, can you imagine, bro? Giving somebody everything you got. Let's say you got 20% left on your battery. You give them the whole 20 and they complaining about how you ain't give them 50. It's like, bitch, I only had 20 and I gave you all of that. I gave you everything I had, and all you complained about, you never said thank you. All you said was what I wasn't doing. When I didn't have to give you shit to begin with. Shit is hilarious, bro. Trying to tell you. These motherfuckers, the wrong person with you, bro, will drain you of everything you got. You never know a person until you tell them no. That's a fact. Yeah. Shit crazy. Shay said, I swear your homie more real than your family. Shit, I know. You know what I mean? Nigga, I'm gonna tell you this. I'll tell you this, bro. Cause I've been I done stood at the hospital multiple times. I got to the point where that shit started to feel like home. I remember there was, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I remember I was so fucked up health-wise. Cause at this time I'm still balancing a job. I'm still going to the gym, training fighters. Bro, when I had checked into that hospital, bro, I swear to God, that shit felt like I was on vacation. You know how some niggas, like, I done heard niggas say that I needed jail. Jail was like a time out from like reality, and I really needed that time. It felt peaceful. I've heard niggas say that jail felt peaceful because it was so their life was so chaotic. Jail just made shit slow down. That's how I felt in that motherfucking hospital. I was so happy. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I felt happy to be there. Cause can't nobody ask me for shit. Can't nobody tell me to do something for them. Nigga, I got a legit excuse to not do anything. I ain't gonna lie. I was so happy being there. I was so happy being there that when they told me that I was leaving, I didn't want to leave. I was mad as shit. I low-key wanted to find something. I wanted to create some type of excuse for why I should stay, which is crazy because I always hated the hospital. I hate the smell. I hate how cold it be in that motherfucker. I hate them annoying ass nurses waking you up in the middle of the night trying to check your vitals. No, bitch, I'm trying to sleep. Shit. Y'all niggas, bro. My boy Dust 215 with the $5 super chat. Salute, brother. He said, nigga, we care. Continue to take care of yourself, Brody. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you, man. We really built a whole family on this joint. You know what I'm saying? Real individuals in the chat. Salute, salute, salute. I low-key, and I know this ain't got shit to do with boxing, but low-key, I do want to tell some of my craziest stories, bro, with this health shit. Health shit. Man, I wish, bro. I'm trying to tell you, bro, the stories I got, bro. If I was to put these bitches on TikTok or something, bro, I would go viral. I swear to God, bro. My life, bro. I'm trying to tell you something good. Niggas can't make this shit up. Yo. Like I'm gonna say from 2022 to 2024, nigga. That was some of the that time frame was probably the most chaotic time of my life. That shit was crazy. It was 2023 was the most beautiful year of my life though, because I became a father June 12, 2023 at 10:12 p.m. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But everything else outside of that, bro. Ooh-wee. That shit fried me. I don't know how I got through that shit, but I did, boy. I swear. Slam said, bro, you are a brother. Your health matters. Real shit. This bond we both go deeper than the channel and boxing at this point. You the truth, gang. I appreciate that, bro. Man, Slime, I know what you go through, and you a real brother for your mental fortitude and how you getting through shit, and you a real father. So, you know what I mean? Nobody can take that shit away from you, bro. You a real man. You know what I mean? Your folks should be proud of you. You feel me? Straight like that. Bella said, God is real. No, God is real. But you know what was crazy, bro? When I was boxing and all that shit, and then I had I had officially gotten diagnosed with my illness, bro. Bro, I swear to God, for the first year or so, man, I had a deep hatred for God, bro. And I ain't got no problem saying that shit because that came from a real place. I question. I know they say you're never supposed to question God. God is perfect, and He puts things. But I was so stubborn. One thing about me, I like to do shit my way. So when that happened, and it went totally against my routine, my goals, and shit like that. Like, bro, I had a hard time believing that God was real, bro. I swear to God. Like, I had a deep resentment towards God, bro. I questioned every move he made, bro. Why the fuck would you do that? You know, everything under the sun, bro. You know what I mean? It was a lot of anger, a lot of uh depression involved, and all of that shit. And I didn't understand why God did what he did to me. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I was completely done with boxing, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Like, when I was completely done with boxing, like 2019, 2018, bro, I was done. I wanted nothing to do with boxing. You know what I mean? And then I was done, bro. Like, my dad was still actively in boxing, managing fighters, training fighters. I wanted nothing to do with it. So I went and had 1,000,001 jobs. I was installing fire sprinklers, and I did all types of jobs, bro. Every type of job you could think of to try to like walk away from this shit. But one thing about boxing, bro, and I think this is just God in itself, whenever you truly align for something, you align to something and it's really meant for you, God's just gonna keep finding ways to continuously make it a theme in your life. So like ever since when I was only a couple months old, my mom tattooed my name on her ankle with a pair of boxing gloves. Mind you, ain't she never like forced me to be in boxing, none of that shit. So that was that. That was the first son. Then of course my dad was a fighter. I mean, I had boxers on my mother's side as well. My uncle was a decorator, amateur, and shit like that in Puerto Rico. What else? It always found its way around me. No matter what I did, bro. I say fuck boxing. I'm done with boxing. Then I meet my cousin's new boyfriend who's a pro boxer. or like, and he invite me to the gym, or I'm out and about. I run into Danny Garcia, or I run into like it never failed. Like no matter what I did, you know what I'm saying? Or I'll be dealing with a girl who brother was a fucking pro boxer. It was always something that always found its way back, bro. Or I'll be out and about. I run into an old sparring partner or somebody that yeah, like an old sparring partner or something. Oh man, you still in the gym? Then I gotta explain to them why I'm not in the gym. Nah, man, you can't give up, man. Crazy. So my dad was like, yo, like I don't really want you to, give up on boxing or nothing like that, man. Just start training fighters with me. Like, man, I don't want to train fighters. I want to beat the shit out of people. You know what I'm saying? So that was a little difficult to get through. But eventually you find your way back in the gym, and even though you can't do anything, I mean, you can still hit a bag, and you see somebody doing something wrong, and I mean, you fix that little detail about them, then they like the insight you provided them, so then they want you to train them, and I mean, next thing you know, you got one fighter, then you got three, then you got five, and you know what I'm saying? And they all getting better, then they competing, and now you a certified coach. And then you get to really understand, and like, and I say this to this day, bro, I'm a much better coach than I ever was a fighter. And what was crazy was growing up in school, whenever we used to have to do presentations, all of that shit, every teacher, bro, I swear to God, bro, on my son, I always had teachers tell me, yo, you would be a great teacher. Just how the way you explain things, how well spoken you are, and how the way you could break things down for people to understand, you would be a great teacher. I'm like, bro, I would never be a teacher. Like, this shit is boring. Like, I can't, and y'all don't get paid. Like, y'all niggas, you know what I'm saying? And the whole time I was a teacher, I just wasn't their type of teacher. I wasn't a middle school teacher. I wasn't a high school teacher. I wasn't a professor. But I definitely was a teacher for the sport of boxing. And you know what I'm saying? I felt real guilty about how the way I would think of God, how I perceived God at one point in time. And I definitely, prayed a lot on it, seeks forgiveness and all that shit. And, you know, you understand that when you're younger that you said a lot of dumb shit or had a lot of immature ways and shit like that. But you live and you learn. I got a real strong relationship with God. God is very real. You feel me? So that's how I carry it from now on. Damn, Justin, you subscribed to 2022. You definitely ain't been in the chat that long though. So when'd you start being a part of the chat? 'Cause I don't think you've been in the chat 4 years. I feel like you still new. God will show you your purpose every time. That's a fact. And I wish I would have understood that earlier and I would have avoided a lot of, negative things when speaking about God and shit like that. You commented, but not like that. Oh, Coffee in the building. He said he came 2024. Yeah, I remember that. Yo, niggas used to be hating on Coffee. I never seen a moderator get hated on like Coffee Plant did. Niggas used to make fake accounts talking shit about Coffee. I'm like, what? Y'all don't even know how the way this nigga look. What the fuck? Who came earlier? I don't know, bro. For real. I'm terrible at remembering them type of things. Yeah, you saw me on Southpaw Channel schooling him, right? Yeah, me and nigga don't know nothing about boxing, man. He's a fucking dope fiend who know how to talk shit. You know what I'm saying? Can't box for shit. Ain't no coach. No pro. No analyst. Nothing. Nigga just go on here and spread gossip like a bitch. Yeah, they be hating on Anonymous. Anonymous just be packing niggas. He be like, yo, I don't like that nigga, bro. Like, all right, well, whenever he start tweaking, just pack him, and that's exactly what he do. Yeah, bro. I always said Southpaw, gave me a solid audience. You feel me? Like he definitely looked out, but I guess he thought since he looked out that he was going to dictate how I think and the narratives that he wanted me to follow his narratives, bro. I'll never be a yes man. I don't give a fuck how much a nigga helped me. And for real, that's what make me not want to collab with niggas, period. I'd rather just have this small channel, build it up brick by brick, rather than having some weirdo feeling like since they put me on to some shit that I gotta be on the same type of time as them. You got me fucked up. I could have been sold out. I could have been on boxing channels that had 200-300K subs, all that. One of the top media niggas that we be watching all the time offered me an opportunity to come out to New York and check out his situation and network with them and all that. But I ain't go because I don't really fuck with what he got going on, bro. I don't be feeling these niggas approaches in this boxing shit, bro. Feel me? I feel like a lot of these niggas culture vultures, they be lying about their boxing background. These niggas be dead ass out here talking about they got fights and all that shit, bro. If I ain't had no fights, I had no problem saying that shit, bro. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if I got 80 fights or I got no fights. These niggas don't know boxing like me, bro. At all. My boy Slum. He definitely did fall off bad, bro. I'm trying to tell you, that nigga used to send me money to send him talking points because he ain't know what to talk about. Like, he be like, bro, I don't know how to approach this topic. I'm like, all right, well, this is what I think. He'll go ahead and take the point, and you know he a broke. Yeah, Southpaw broke, bro. Any nigga that be like, and you know, this ain't me shitting on nobody, but he always used to brag about, oh, I'm getting paid though. I'm getting paid. All right, nigga, like you getting paid, cool. But why you gotta wait until next week to pay me for something if you got money? If you gotta wait a week to pay a nigga, stop flexing on niggas, bro. Seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like, can't no nigga flex. You cannot call nobody broke if you be like, oh, I got you next week, bro. Nigga, that's what dope fiends do when you give them $1. Yo, man, can I borrow $1 real quick? Yo, man, let me borrow $20. All right, nigga, you better hit my shit. When you gonna hit my shit? I'll get to you next week, bro. When I get paid. Niggas do that. Yo, you ain't got money like that, bro. You don't. It ain't nothing wrong with that, but stop flexing like you got bread. A lot of niggas live check to check. That's just how that shit go. I've been there, nigga. But I ain't never try to flex on a nigga. Never that. I remember, bro, I swear to God, bro, on my soul, bro. I remember me and Claymore, God, that's when I had Claymore around me and shit. I brought this nigga on Southpaw TV, right? And Southpaw would do a thing where before he goes live, he bring you into the stream yard, and then he tells you what he want to talk about and how the way he gonna approach it. Bro, and this nigga would be like, please, bro, he would say shit like, please don't disagree with me. Like, please don't disagree with me. I was like, what? I remember the one time I was like, what? So I said, so what if I don't agree with what you talking about, Southpaw? He's like, no, because, you know, I don't want to get, man, I don't want to get distracted. You know, I don't want to get upset. You know, he's a dummy. You feel me? Like, bro, I swear to God, bro, on my soul, bro. If I'm lying, I'm fucking dying, bro. Strike me dead right now. Claymore will tell you himself. Claymore Rain, like, please don't disagree with me, blah, blah. Because he was such an insecure nigga, right? That's why he don't really bring niggas on his channel. That's real. Have you ever seen Southpaw do a debate? He can't debate because the nigga don't know what he talking about. At least not with me. He probably debate other niggas. He ain't never debate me. We could debate anything and I'll fry that nigga, bro. Only way I don't fry him is if he agree with me. You know what I'm saying? I done had niggas on my channel that disagree with me. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You feel me? They might have had a good point. I might have had a good point. But I ain't never turned down no fucking debate. I ain't never turned down a nigga disagreeing with me. Bro, he said, please don't disagree with me because it might throw me off of what I got going on and I don't want to get upset. Like, bro, you're like, you gotta be retarded. You gotta be. Like, if a nigga disagreeing with you throws you off your game, that's because you don't believe, because you really don't, you scared of being challenged. Like, you scared of being challenged, bro. Any nigga that's scared to be challenged, that's an insecure nigga to me. An insecure nigga to me is a bitch nigga to me. But you so tough off of the internet. Nigga, you scared to disagree. You scared for a nigga to disagree with you, but you so tough on it off the internet, on the internet. Nigga, please. Yeah, bro. If you peep, he used to block niggas in the comments. He got me blocked too. But if you ever peep, he will block a nigga for disagreeing with him in the comments. So y'all know I ain't capping. Like, you know how niggas be like, Or I'll say some shit like, oh, I think Devin Haney gonna beat Keyshawn. There's somebody in the comments be like, man, Keyshawn about to beat the shit out of Devin Haney. I ain't never say, man, get him out of here, man. No, peg him up. Never did that. You know why? Because you entitled to your opinion, just like I am, and my opinion no better than yours. I might feel like your opinion lacking substance, and you might feel like mine is too. But well, that's I back up a lot of my opinions with factual information. But you get what I'm saying. Yeah, but that nigga knew. And then he was DMing me the other day. He blocked me because I said some shit about his fat ass wife. He got mad and shit. I told him that his wife needs dark and shit. He got all mad. You know what I mean? Like if your bitch light skinned with dark kneecaps and obese, don't talk to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? I said something about her kneecaps being black. She got you know what I'm saying? I said she was built like what I said that bitch was built like one of them wrestlers. I think I said like Rikishi or one of them. I think I called her Rikishi and shit. I said the bitch got Samoan calves and shit. He got all mad. Niggas started saying shit like he said some shit. Nigga said he got all mad. He was like, what would you say that to my face though? Nigga, I would do more than that. Nigga, I would ice you, nigga. Like what the fuck? He talking about I'll let you get the first punch. Nigga, if you let me get the first punch, that's gonna be the last punch. Like what the fuck? Bro, any nigga who let me throw the first punch is gonna be the last punch, bro. I promise you that. Fuck. What Justin say? Nigga said Gorlock. Nigga said Gorlock. That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, like, bro, like I don't got nothing against big girls, bro. Niggas, they need love too. You feel me? But don't be out here flexing like you that nigga and that your bitch built like Umaga and shit. Like that's super dead. Like you know what I'm saying? Nigga said viscera. Yeah, bitch built like Big Daddy V. Your bitch built like a Dudley boy trying to flex on me. Oh no, sir, we ain't doing that. Yeah. This nigga said boxing with built like viscera is insane. That's a fact. Yeah, bro. I remember the one time he FaceTimed me, he flipped the camera by accident, and I ain't see what she looked like, but you could tell by a bitch legs what the rest of their body built like. This bitch legs look like this bitch ankles look like they came with diabetic shoes. Like she looked like she needed one of them joint, like basically, you know how like you see how like the shit, like the fucking leg blend into the ankle. Like the cankles. The bitch had cankles, right? But her legs looked unhealthy. You know how like a bitch just chunky, but then it's like the bitch got the my 600-pound life legs. She like she needed one of like them machines, you know, where that got a chair that'll like uh take her fat ass up the steps. You know what I'm talking about? That shit lined up with the staircase and shit. They sit on the motherfucking chair and the shit just ride them up the steps. Yeah, bro. I seen like the bitch had like blood clots in her calves and shit. Yeah, bro. It was one of them type Jones. Like when she go to the supermarket, she be on that little hover around. Yeah, her legs would give out on her on aisle 8. Something vicious. Damn, Slime, that was cold. That was cold as shit. That nigga Slime going to hell for that comment. I ain't even gonna put that one up. I ain't gonna lie, y'all niggas talking to y'all niggas. That shit fucked up. My little situation with my girl. I was gonna take her little ass to Pound Town. Y'all niggas don't fuck my whole situation up. She sleep snoring and shit. I ain't even about to wake her up. Mark Chamberlain, Rich O'Leary. Boxing Wiz, don't ask me no dumbass shit like that, bro. Who the fuck is them niggas, man? You trying to get me mad? Yo, no lie. Somebody just drove by my crib playing that Jeremiah song. Girl, you know. Yeah. This weekend fight, bro. Stop playing with me, man. Boxing over the cat is crazy. That's crazy. That niggas fuck my motion up, man. Now I gotta wait till tomorrow and shit. Super bad, John. I was gonna say some racist shit, but I'm gonna chill. I was wildin'. I be having my girl with too many racist jokes. I gotta fall back off that. He said blame Bud. Yeah, fuck Bud. Bitch ass nigga. Motherfucker on here. Punk ass nigga wanna be hating on Boots and shit. The old ass nigga just need to sit the fuck down. Stop mentioning Boots' name, man. If you don't want to fight the nigga, shut the fuck up, nigga. Marlon Greatness, what up, brother? He sent 440 jewels. I don't know what's the equivalent. I still to this day don't know what that is, brother, but it's definitely something positive. So thank you very much for supporting the channel. Absolutely. He said Unk Alert. Damn, salute, brother. My boy Z with the $200 jewels. He said flow state. I don't know what that is neither, but salute, brother. He said you welcome, Unk. Nigga, how old is you calling me Unk? I never met a nigga named Marlon that was young. So who the fuck? How old is you calling me Unk? You better be younger than me, nigga. If you in my age range, I might time you out for 60 seconds, nigga. Why you keep calling me that? Nigga, you don't even know how old I am. What the fuck is going on? Nigga, I'm 5 years older than you. If you don't go sit your funky ass down somewhere, Marlon. The hell? Nigga. 23. Go sit your crunchy ass down somewhere, nigga. The hell wrong with you? Marco old nigga in spirit. I ain't gonna lie, that shit, that's definitely real. I don't be wanting niggas asking me for shit. I don't like going outside. I don't like doing shit. Yeah. Cause I know if I leave this crib and you put me in the room with the wrong niggas, bro, this shit gonna look like a Bruce Lee movie. I'm gonna be tossing like 8 niggas around. Pause. Damn, I shouldn't have said that. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. First of all, fuck all y'all niggas. I hate y'all. And there's always fat niggas. Like I can't stand y'all niggas. Y'all love to talk shit. I don't trust no nigga named Bethaniel anyway. Bethaniel sound like a disabled gay nigga. Put that motherfucking pause button. Justin Jackson. This nigga jump rope and be concussed. Nigga titty beat. And he with Brian Norman left hooks. Justin titty be hitting them with Brian Norman left hooks. Nigga be getting hit with that Sasaki. This nigga said, wow. Oh, shit. Yeah. It's like that, bro. Fuck out of here. Y'all niggas be talking shit. I didn't choose y'all. Man, nigga, I ain't choose y'all, nigga. Fuck y'all niggas, man. Y'all niggas distracted me. I'm the victim. Fuck, nigga. Fuck wrong with y'all? I'm about to wake her ass up. Fuck wrong with you? Man, give her that Kobe speech. The job ain't finished, ho. Fuck wrong with you? Slime, you're a faggot. This nigga says Mr. Nasty time. That's how I know just don't get no pussy. It's Mr. Nasty time. What the fuck? You ready to meet Mr. Nasty? That nigga Justin be trying to do a swanton bomb off the bed, fall right in the basement. He be trying to jump off the dresser with these hoes, fall right in his basement. Ooh, wait. That's funny as shit. I ain't gonna lie. Justin say that to the lot lizards. Yo. Oh shit. That nigga said, my stomach hurts. Yeah, tripping. Slime be built like them bitches who take out their birth control. You ever seen them bitches, bro? Like, damn, bitch, how you get so big? They took out my birth control. Bitch, they got an IUD body. Ooh, yeah. Nouveau. Yo. Yo, that's funny as shit. Yeah, we seen Slime on the zone shit. Looking dirty as shit. Nigga look dirty, man. That nigga was in that parking lot looking for cigarette butts. Real shit. Slime definitely smoked ports to the filter. Real shit. If that nigga Justin spun around and clicked his feet together 3 times, this fat ass will fly to Krispy Kreme. Yeah. Yo. Nigga said autopilot to Mickey D's. Yo. That nigga Justice said Mark sleep on his stomach. What, nigga? That nigga Justin. Wait, what? Tooted up. Zion, I'm a trans. Yo. Yo, that nigga tripping. Yo, that's the fucking bid. That's the bid, bro. Oh, bro. Why does nigga Slime keep talking about sperm banks? You know what? This what we gonna do. That nigga Justin robbed a sperm bank. I ain't even gonna say it, bro. This shit gonna get me demonetized, bro. I was gonna say something crazy. But chill. I'm trying to make some money off this live, bro. I'll be fucking my money up. Y'all don't be peeping how much I be fucking this money up, bro. I'll be getting notifications. This video is not suitable for advertisements. God damn, what did I say? Then I looked through it and it was like, oh yeah, Stafford again. Yep. That'll do it. That was wild, Justin. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. See, that's what I'm trying. I was gonna say some wild shit like that. I was wrong. Z said Justin looked like a gay barber. You want to blow out? Nah, let me shape that up. Get your ass in the chair, slime. Yo, that's crazy. Nigga. Auntie Sco is slime side bitch. Yo. That's funny as shit. Yo. That's the bit. That's funny as shit. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, so I'm burnt out right now. I ain't gonna lie. Man. Damn, yo, Buffalo wildin'. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all. I'll be back at y'all with another live tomorrow. I'll let y'all. Peace.